Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to track your macros. So there's going to be 3 steps. We're going to find our maintenance calories, we're going to find our cutting and bulking calories, I'm going to explain recomposition, and then I'm going to help you guys calculate your separate protein, carbs, and fat. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is find our maintenance calories. Maintenance calories are how many calories you need to eat in a day to not gain or lose any weight. In order to do that, there's a simple formula that I found for you guys. Let me show you. Is our body weight in pounds times 14 to 16. 14 to 16 is a range. 14 indicates that you're really not that active, you have a sedentary job, but you're really not that active throughout the day, and 16 is like you're super active, you're running around all day, you're training for a marathon, you're just super active. And then 15's in the middle, so I would say I would fall in 15 because I exercise a lot and I like to get my steps in every day, but I also have a lot of downtime. I would classify myself as 15. For an example, I am 122 pounds as of this morning, and I'm going to multiply that by 15. 1,830 calories. So this number right here is how many calories I have to eat in a day to maintain my weight, 122 pounds. Once we know this, we can move on to our goals. I want to explain the difference of a cut and a bulk for you guys, and also recomposition. Summer's coming up and I am looking to lose a little bit of fat on my body. Now, in order to do this, I need to cut my calories back. And the best way to go about a cut would be taking your maintenance level calories, which mine were 1,830, and subtracting that by 300 to 500 calories. I'm sure it does make sense. So 300 to 500 calories, I would probably start with 300 calories. So I would take my 1,830 and subtract 300. Now, if I were looking to put on muscle and mass, I would go into a bulk. In order to bulk, you would want to add 200 to 300 calories to your maintenance level. And I wouldn't go over 300 because if you wanted to stay in that lean bulking area where you're not putting too much excess fat on too quickly. Third option that you guys could try is recomposition. You may want to add some muscle, lose some fat at the same time, which is easier for people just starting to get into the gym, which is kind of cool. So you could keep your calories exactly what they are and start training and keep your protein up, and then you could see that result of losing more fat but gaining more muscle at the same time. But for this example, I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to be introducing my cut that I'm going to be doing for a few months. So again, if you're cutting, you want to subtract 300 to 500 calories, and if you're bulking, you want to add 200 to 300 calories. And then this is all adding to this number up here. And if you wanted to recomp, like I said earlier, to lose fat, gain muscle, same time, you would just keep this number. For me, I am going into a cut, so that's what I want to do. So I'm going to take my 1,830 calories and subtract 300. That will give me 1,530 calories. So this is the number I am going, oh my gosh, that's terrible, to be working with today. So now that we have our cutting calories, we can go ahead and calculate our proteins, carbs, and fats. So those are our 3 macros. There's also alcohol that's involved in our calories, but we'll talk about that at the end. Protein is 4 calories per gram, carbs is 4 calories per gram, and fat is 9 calories per gram. Our body needs all 3 of these to function. We are going to calculate exactly how much you should get to optimize your nutrition. Let's start with protein. order to calculate protein, there's also a simple formula. So you're gonna take your body weight in pounds, and this time you're gonna multiply it by a range of 0.75 to 1.25. Classifies the people that have more body fat, don't exercise as much, pretty much like unhealthy and nude training, okay? 1.25 is like a really shredded person with a lot of muscle. And then in between 1 is like the golden number, which is a lot of people, and this is for active people that are in shape. They're not necessarily shredded, but they're not holding on to a lot of excess fat. So I would classify myself in this 1 area. For me, I am going to do my body weight, which again is 122, times 1, which is 122. So I'm going to be eating 122 grams of protein per day. So in order to find how many calories this is, we're going to take 122 and multiply that by 4. 488 calories of protein a day. Now that we found our protein, we're gonna go on and find our fats. So fats are very essential for our bodies, especially women. We need them for our organs and everything to function. So we need to make sure that we're getting enough dietary fats. When I say fats, I'm talking about like olive oils, avocado, nuts, peanut butter, stuff like that in that area. The fats that I'm not really talking about that you kind of want to avoid are like trans fats and saturated fats, come from like sugar, baked goods, that area. I mean, they're good to have in moderation, but I'm primarily focusing on those fats that are filled with the nutrients that you need to function. So I'm going to show you how to calculate that as well. We have another formula, which is our body weight in pounds again, times a new range, which is 0.3 to 0.4. The thing that determines this is more preference. So if you're a person that loves carbs, you're gonna stick to the 0.3. If you're a person that likes more fatty foods like nuts and avocados, you're gonna stick to this range. So I would say that I kind of fall in the middle of this. Like, I like both carbs and fats. So I'm going to use, for myself, my 122 pounds times 0.35. So 122 times 0.35. So 42.7. So 42.7 grams of fat. So to find how many calories that is, again, we're going to multiply this by 9, which is 384.3 calories from fat. Our last and final step is going to be calculating our carbs. So carbs are super important, especially if you're incorporating weight training. It's a great way to get energy, and I find that when I eat a good amount of carbs before my workout, I have way more energy. To calculate carbs, we're going to need our previous calculations. For fats, we're going to use this number, which was the total calories that we multiplied after the grams. So this is our total calories for fat. So let's write those down. Fat was 384.3. Okay, and then we're going to go back to get our protein, and we're going to use this number. So that was the calories for protein. We're going to add those numbers up. So that is your total calories with fats and protein. And then we're going to go back even further to when we calculated our maintenance calories, and I found that my calories for my cut are going to be 1,530. We are going to take the 1,530 and we're going to subtract 872. Let's just make it 72 to make it easier. 658 calories designated to carbs. In order to find how many grams that is, we're going to divide that number by 4. That is 164.5 grams of carbs. Our grand total macros are going to be, so our cutting calories are 1,530. Our total protein, fat, and carbs, 164.5 grams. And then for protein, it's 122 grams. And for fat, 42.7 grams. For me to lose weight, I'm going to be eating 1,530 calories and this many grams of each particular macro. Now that we found our macros and our calories, I recommend that if you're new to this, you guys can download MyFitnessPal, plug in these numbers, and they're gonna ask you to take your own quiz and give you set macros, but I think that these are going to be a little more accurate for you. So you're gonna plug in your numbers and then you can start tracking your food. It's super simple to use. Macros is not for everyone. You need to remember adding numbers in can be problematic to some people that don't have a healthy relationship with food. It can become a bit obsessive, so I don't recommend doing it forever. But honestly, if you do it for about a week, if you track your macros for a week straight, you're gonna learn portion control, you're gonna learn how to nourish your body to reach its full potential. Another thing that I wanna mention is tracking your progress. You could use a scale if you're trying to lose an excessive amount of weight. It's okay to use a scale, but I really recommend taking progress pictures because that is the most accurate way to track your progress. The last thing that I want to say that I mentioned earlier is that alcohol does have 7 calories per gram, and they're just completely empty calories. And I did want to mention that after drinking alcohol, you may be more susceptible to picking bad food choices. If you are going to indulge, make sure that you're really hydrating, and that when you finish drinking, and instead of having that McDonald's double cheeseburger or something, maybe go home and have a bowl of oatmeal. Those carbs are really going to absorb the alcohol and nourish your body and keep you full. So that's just a little tip. But then again, everything's good in moderation. Have fun. If you want to go out and have drinks, it's totally fine. But yeah, I hope this cleared some stuff up and it helped you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, because I can always help you guys track, do all these calculations, because I know it's a little bit confusing. I really tried to simplify it as much as possible. Just be honest with yourself when there's those ranges, the 14 to 15, 0.75 to 0.25. If you're honest with yourself, you're probably gonna get the best results. And it's also completely trial and error. If you see after a week you're not making as much progress as you want to be, maybe take that range of 300 to 500 cutting calories and put it up to 400. Yeah, it's just really trial and error, and take progress pictures. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.